Alrighty. Essentially, this is what we're going to be doing today. And like I said, we're going to be adding on to placing images, changing up some blending modes. I'm going to show you how to add text, how to warp that text to give it kind of a unique style. And then we're going to be placing little graphics inside of there that are not vectorized, but I'm going to show you how to quickly vectorize them and redraw them from here. If you do go to today's Moodle page, if I can pull it up, very bottom. The only thing you need to download are the graphic images. This will be a folder, and also the JPEG of the blank t-shirt. And I'll go through this whole project with y'all since it's really simple to set up. You should be able to finish it by the end of today. Once you are finished, you'll upload it to Moodle. This is what you will be downloading. Pull it to the desktop. There she is. Take one. I'm giving you a blank gray t-shirt. If you ever do t-shirt design, it's always good to show them what the design will look like on a shirt. And you can get shirts in a variety of different colors. You'll see why I'm using a gray shirt in just a minute. And inside of the little graphic images zip file will be a variety of just different graphic design icons and pictures that you can use. I want to see you use it in this particular design by itself. For this project, what I'm mainly looking for, I want you to use the words I want you to use the words graphic design in some way. You can add to it, you can add just the words graphic design, but those have to be on there. And I want you to use one of the images that I gave to you. You can use more, you can change up the colors, you can do whatever you want for your specific picture, but I want to see you use the techniques that we're creating. All cool? Okay, let's jump in. We're going to go to File, make a new document. This time we're just going to set it up as a regular letter size, 8.5 by 11. It's going to be portrait orientation. We'll say okay. So this is what we're working with for our project from here. The first thing we're going to do is to place our t-shirt and to colorize the t-shirt into here. To place the image, we did this last time when you had to place the little different textures. You can go to File and down to Place. And then I saved mine to my desktop, so let's see if I can find it from here. There it is, blank t-shirt. And we'll place it into here. Remember, the JPEG, the picture that we're working with, works like any other object. So when I click on it, I can click on the edges and I can scale it up. If I hold down my shift, I can make it a little bit bigger. I want you to make yours big enough to at least fill the page, give you something to work with as well. Here's how to change the color of a t-shirt. The reason I chose gray is because gray can be changed into any particular color that I wanted to work with. It can be a light or a dark red, light or dark blue, yellow, anything like this. To do this, I'm going to make a rectangle right on top of it. Got my rectangle tool. Right now my fill color is just a solid white. Also notice I don't have a stroke going around it as well. I'm going to change my fill color to one of my predefined swatches. We'll make it red for now. So if I'm doing it right, it should look just like this. Here's what happens when I change the blending mode for that particular red object that I have. What do blending modes do? Y'all remember?
Changing the opacity and the intensity.
That's part of it, yeah. Changing the opacity, changing how the pixels interact with each other. Do y'all remember what palette it's located in? That'll make for a great quiz question. It's in your transparency palettes. If I don't see it off to the side, I can always go to Window, down to Transparency. There it is, opened right there. I'll pull it off so we can use it. Here's our blending mode. I'm going to change it from normal, the instructions say, to overlay. And this is what I get from the rest of it. It's going to overlay. It's only going to work with the midtones of the grays that I have. I've still got lighter red, I still have darker red, but this is what I look like. And if I made it a little bit bigger, I can completely cover up the entire picture of the shirt, and I got a solid color shirt that I can have. If I wanted to change the color, all I've got to do is change the color of that red square. I can open up my color picker, make it a blue t-shirt, make it a lighter blue, darker blue, whatever you want from here. Pretty cool? So if you have a gray t-shirt, that's a great starting point for changing up what you have. Just to give you fair warning, if you make your box too big and something like this happens, what's happening here? Why is it showing green, the box color here, but not right here? part of the picture. The white is the background for this particular picture. Technically there is no white back here. There's of course the page, but it's not, doesn't have any object to blend with. In this case, I've got a picture and some pixels to blend with, and I can work with those as well too. Cool? Here's another thing. This is a bonus for you. This won't be on the test or anything. If you open your Swatches palette, of course I've got some predefined swatches I can work with. At the very bottom left-hand corner, I've got a variety of different libraries, and these are just some other pre-made swatches. So if I quickly needed like food colors, if I wanted foods that were ice cream colors, I can open these up, and here's a variety of different ice cream color swatches I can work with. Some other swatches we have, there are gradients. So I can have different earth tone fades, I can have vegetables, gems, fruits. All of these are also predefined swatches. Let's open up, let's do fruits and vegetables. And you can see from here, these are just a variety of pre-made gradients. I've got my box selected, and if I was to choose one of these, all of a sudden now I've got a two-tone shirt. It'll go from one color to another color. If I do open up my gradient palette, this is where, of course, you can change the direction of it. So if I wanted to go, say, a 90-degree top to bottom, I can make a t-shirt to look pretty much like that. Pretty cool? The whole purpose of this is to just give you an idea of what your shirt would look like. Also, I thought this was really cool. If you look in the patterns, there's a variety of different decorative patterns and geometric patterns. Let's open up some of these. So if you wanted a t-shirt to look like this or something like this, whenever I choose one of these pre-made swatches, it will add it to my regular swatches, so I can go back and refine whatever I was working in from here. Let's do that one, plaid shirt. I've never done plaid before. So I've got my t-shirt. I've got the color of it set. I've got everything that I wanted to do with it. Let's start adding the text to it. And this is what what the back side of your instructions will go for. As with Illustrator, as with InDesign, your Type tool has the big T. You're going to use this one to add text to it. In InDesign, how did we add text to a document? What did you have to create? You had to make a text box. You had to click and drag, and then you can type inside of it as well. In Photoshop, how did we add text to that? Do y'all remember? Click one time, and you can get a line of text. In Illustrator, you can do both. You can make a text box if you've got a lot of text, or if you've got one or two or a couple of words, you can add a solid line of text to type out as well. What I want you to do for this project, I'll delete that, just click once and give yourself a little blinking cursor and type out the words graphic or graphic design. I'll do one word at a time. Graphic. If I just click once, if I use my selection tool now, I get my little bounding box, and I can actually click and drag and change the size of it very, very quickly from there. Did I go too quick? Everybody same page with me? So, typing out the text, creating the text from here, just click once with your Type tool. Here's the second thing to pay attention to. With my Type tool selected, of course I can highlight the text that I'm working with. If you look at the very top, I've got my characters, and I've also got some paragraph adjustments from here. So I can adjust in my paragraph, like the alignment. Do I want to be centered or left or right? The one we'll basically be working with is our character palette up here at the top. I can choose a variety of different fonts. So if I click on it, here's all the fonts that are loaded up on my computer, and you get a little preview of what they look like. And if they have the little arrow off to the side, remember you can choose different stylings of it, whether it's bold or not, italics. Different ones may or may not have that as well. So let's choose a cool little font. What is this guy? Hey, that one's neat. So I got like a Western style font. If you wanted to type in a specific size, here's where you can do it. There's also a quick one up here as well. So if I wanted to quickly change that up, not 9 points, too small. 72, let's make it 200. That big as well. Still got it selected. I can adjust my leading. What is leading? Y'all remember that? Bingo, space between lines. You can also adjust your tracking and your kerning. Tracking and kerning is the amount of space between the individual letters. So if I wanted to spread that out. And there's some other formatting. You can quickly capitalize or small caps, all these different things as well. The main thing I'm going to work with is just changing my font, maybe changing my font size. If I want to change my font color, it's as simple as changing the fill color that you're working with. So if I wanted that to be, let's make it a light color, light yellow. When I deselect, it'll change up the entire thing. I can move it on top of here. Since I got my bounding box, I can click and scale it down and place it. And if I want it to be a little bit shorter, into here as well. Pretty cool. If I do have it selected, I don't have to use my type tool to change my fill color. If I want it to be blue, there's that as well. I will give you this one fair warning. Let's see if I can add a gradient to there. Gradients can't be added to text by itself. Does that make sense? So if you use text, use just a solid fill color. Same way for patterns. I'm pretty sure. Oh, you can add a pattern. Okay, that's new. You can add patterns to text, not gradients. I'm going to keep mine a solid color just to keep it simple for here. Come on. There we go. Here's the second thing. So I've got graphic. Let's add the word design. Maybe I'll change its font. Your character. We'll do something weird. Okay. Very distressed little looking font. I can scale it down. We'll change up the color of it. Let's make it a lighter blue. Y'all go away. I'm having fun. Okay, so I got the words graphic. I got the words design. Here's the next thing. Here's how to keep your t-shirt from looking like a Shawreth t-shirt. We're going to add some a little bit more dynamic to these particular words. To do this, we're going to create what's called an envelope distortion. And this is going to be a little bit different way of thinking. I've created my text inside of here. To distort my text, I'm going to go to Object, Envelope Distort, and Make with Warp. And this is going to bring up the warp options that I'm working with. There you go. Look on another piece. With these options opened, it's got its own little dialog box. I'm going to turn on Preview. And you can see I can pick a variety of different styles to choose from. By default, it's usually Arch or Arc. And you get a little idea of what it's going to do once you select it. The bend will tell you how much of the distortion you're doing. So if I wanted it to bend the other way, I can do this. Also, you've got a horizontal and vertical distortion. I was playing around with it earlier, so I'll set this back to 0. So if I wanted just a simple arc of my characters, I can bend it more, or I can bend it the other way if I go negative inside of the warp options. If I wanted one side to be a little bit bigger, this is where your horizontal or vertical distortion would be. Let's see if I can, there we go. So horizontal will make one side smaller, one side bigger from there as well. Pretty cool? Once you start playing around, especially if you've got a lot of text, it's really neat to make text fit one side, and then maybe I'll distort this one and fill in this other side. So let's say I liked that. We'll say, okay, I can still scale it down, get it to fit on the back of my t-shirt. So I've got the word graphic in a little bit more dynamic pose. It's in an envelope distortion. Here's the next thing to keep in mind when working for envelope distort. So I'll even drag it off so we can see this a little better. Notice I've got this shape that's going around my text layers. What's my fill color? What does it say? What's my fill color? Great, good. My letters are yellow. My fill color is gray. The reason why is because I'm not really affecting the letters. You can see I'm affecting the shape that's around it. This is the, quote, envelope that the letters are being warped into. Here's the thing to remember. If I wanted to change the color of my text, or even change what my text is or what's inside of it, if I go to change my fill color, so change it from gray, let's say I wanted it to be blue, it's not going to do anything. Here's how to change the color of what's inside of the envelope, the text. You can go back to Object. Envelope Distort is what we're working with. Here's where we can edit the contents of it. With that selected, now check out my fill color. Now I've got the yellow, and I can change that up and make an edit for that particular color as well. So when working with an envelope distortion, the main thing to remember under Object, Envelope, is whether you're editing the envelope, the actual shape of it, or the contents of it, which would be, in this case, the letters that we're working on. Did I lose everybody? All cool. Real cool. Let's do the same thing for design. Let's see if I can get it to fit in this area. So I've got it selected. Go up to Object, Envelope Distort, Make with Warp. Turn on Preview so I can see what I'm working with. Let's choose another type of distortion. I'll reset these back to kind of their default. What looks good? See if I can get a flag. Flag will do this. I wanted it to bend the other way. Rise will do something like that. Inflate or deflate, so if I want it to be squished or stretched out. By the way, you can do this to regular objects. Don't think you have to do it to text. Let's see, I want something to really affect one side of it. There we go. Let's do that. Oop, too much. You can go a little too crazy with it. When I say OK, so it's committed, you can see my little envelope that's around my text. And if I wanted to change its color, go to Object, back to your distortion, and edit the contents of it. In this case, now I can change it to yellow or whatever I wanted it to do. Let's go back to the envelope. Okay, so I've got my text on my t-shirt, and I've changed the color of my t-shirt that I'm working with. Let's add some graphics to it. A lot of times you can go online, go to Google, and find some really great graphics that you want to work with. The problem with just Googling images is that you're normally just going to find JPEGs. You're going to find raster art. It's made of pixels. In this case, I've given you this folder full of different images. Let's see what they look like. Let's see, I'll choose this one. This will give me a little preview. All the different ones. I purposefully chose some high contrast images, some very just black and white. These tend to work out really well. I like that one. So graphic number 19. We're going to place him into our t-shirt. File and place. And oops, graphic number 19. There's my mouse. And he's placed inside of here. Remember, if they're made of pixels, this is what it's going to look like. You've got your little jagged edges. I want to vectorize this. If I wanted to do this the old-fashioned way, of course I can grab my pen tool. I can start clicking all the way along the edges, and very slowly I can redraw the entire thing. Here's the quick way of doing it. We're going to use what's called image trace. I'm going to select my image. I'll even move it out of the way so we can see it. My image selected. Check out what I have at the very top towards the middle, towards the left middle. Image trace. With one click, the computer is going to look at the light and the dark areas of your image and will vectorize it for you. Now watch what happens if I zoom in. Notice I'm not getting my little jagged edges. I'm not getting my pixels. It's turned it into a vectorized object. The thing you have to remember with it, if you want to edit your vector image, hit the word expand at the very top. Now you can actually see my little vector points. You see the little dots going along the edges of it? It's been vectorized. I've gone from a JPEG to a vector image. Now I can actually edit this one. If I wanted to get rid of the white, I'm going to use my direct selection tool, because with direct select, I can select just one color and delete it away. White is completely gone. If I want to get rid of that white, direct select it, delete it away. If I wanted to colorize it, so if I wanted this area to, let's say, let that be yellow, select this area, maybe that'll be light green. We'll make this a light green. We'll make this yellow. The main thing is, once it's expanded, then you're able to actually edit it, delete things, change colors, change sizes, and move it around. Still got my vector points that I can work with. And now I can place it within my t-shirt design. All cool? Like I said, you don't have to use just one image. You can insert multiple ones. You can move things around. You can draw on it as much as you want. Once you're finished with this, save it as an Illustrator file. So just File, Save As. I'm going to keep it Illustrator. I'll call it T-shirt. Say OK. And this is what you're going to upload to Moodle. There should be a place on there to upload it once you are finished. Any questions so far? All cool? All right. I'll turn your computers over to y'all and let you get started.